Well, what a start from Jack.
90.
Well, very much chance of the century now. That red has gone in. Yeah, he went high on the cue ball initially there. Sort of teased at the fact that he was going to play on that red on the left side cushion, but just deciding to make sure of the century first. Pop this red in his next colour to do that.
Yeah, and it will be 11 centuries in the 19 matches he's played, but they're short matches, aren't they? You know, they're only best of fives.
98.
Pretty remarkable. This is the 5th day he's been here. Well, this rate of scoring that he's keeping up. Superb. Looking for the cannon to the red.
100. Jack Jones 100.
He made his 100th career century the other day. He's now up to 106. He's just making centuries for fun. That's his 11th of the tournament. And he leads Ronnie Sullivan already 1-0. So Jack Jones with 100 exactly has won the opening frame against Ronnie O'Sullivan. The last match of the day on table one. O'Sullivan still yet to win one. He's lost his first 3. One each, Mark Selby and Ali Carter on table 2.
Well, that was a very risky shot choice from Ronnie there. Got the cover in behind the green, because that red was very nearly cuttable into that left middle pocket.
I'm making passive income with this app. Download Coup Express.
Well, that time Ronnie able to break the deadlock, play the more conventional safety shot, and has got Jack in a little bit of trouble at the same time. Covered the red by the blue with the green, which forces Jack to again come down this end of the table. He's a very patient player, Jack Jones. He won't be tempted by anything where he doesn't feel there's much value in it. Happy to play the patient game.
Just to say, Selby, that second frame he won, he made another century, so that's 5 he's made today. Some of the guys that sort of travelled over Christmas, did exhibitions. Selby was at home. He said he did have a little knock over the new year, just to get himself into shape for the second half of the season.
Nice shot.
That's the second time that Ronnie's been reluctant to play the shot that you see every now and then when the player goes into the pack of reds and screw back to this top cushion, opening the reds. Twice he's refused that, so possibly down to the fact that he saw Jack Jones make that century break in the opener. Doesn't want to play an open game here. Oh, this red's close. It's all the way.
What? Jack Jones won.
And that was a much better shot than it looked. these cloths very fast, very reactive. It's very easy to either over or undercook that type of shot. And the patient game may have paid off now from Jack Jones. Has Ronnie left this red to middle? Oh, surely he can see this red. Ronnie will be very fortunate if Jack can't pot this.
Yeah, we're just talking sort of millimetres there, really making the difference. So Sullivan has made a couple of big breaks today, but overall it's been rather inconsistent performance. At times it's been promising positions broken down. Like to end the day on a high. I think he's come here, you know, it's not about winning the group for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's won so many tournaments, he doesn't need to be, you know, worrying about that. But he wants to get a couple of good days' practice, and that means playing well. Not just playing, but you know, feeling that he's hitting the ball nicely. He's had some tip trouble, of course, which hasn't helped.
दोस्तों मैं आपके लिए पैसे कमाने के अलग अलग तरीके लेकर आता हूं, कभी किसी बिजनेस से या फिर कभी ऐप से, बट आप
Want to mine Bitcoin easily, but don't know where to start? Don't worry. With this Bitcoin cloud,
Again, just taking the option to go into the reds one more time.
29.
Just get a few more balls moving. It was all kind of covering one another there, so took the opportunity to play that shot at that moment, and it's worked out fine. So, well, he's lost the cue ball.
30.
Well, he didn't like that, did he? Useless, he says. He almost sort of kicked the table. He was never going to, but just showing a bit of frustration. Because, as I say, he's come here, you know, for practice, to try and find something ahead of the Masters. And it's just not quite happening for him.
30.
It's happening for Mark Selby on table 2. He's about to make what will be his 6th century of the day to lead Ali Carter 2-1. Not a happy picture for O'Sullivan there, though.
Yeah, and it's that exact type of shot that he just broke down on there, Ronnie, that has just been costing him today. Those little touch shots. Just not quite been 100% there with them. A lot of that has to do with the tip, there's no doubt about it. If you're not quite getting the feel out of the tip, it can be very difficult to play those little cute shots. But he's back in.
Yeah, nicely controlled. Long red.
Eight. Nine.
So Sullivan yet to appear in a final this season. Hasn't played as many tournaments as the other top players.
12. 13.
One of those, though, isn't it? I mean, he could struggle all season, but if he won an 8th world title, that's all anyone would remember. Quite understandably, that would, of course, be a new record set. Just seems a very young 49-year-old, doesn't he? He looks good, you know, he looks after himself, and he plays a young man's game still.
Thank you.
Yeah, I must say, I was just up in the players' lounge and I was sat with him and I did think the same thing. He looks very lean. He looks like he's been hitting the gym. Looking very fit.
Staying away from that lemon drizzle cake they have there 24/7 in that players' room. Can't say the same for myself.
27. 28.
Anyway, despite that mishap along the way, this is frame ball for one each.
$36. 43. 44. 50. 51. 57. 58. 64. 66.
Well, in the end, it's been a lovely break. Bearing in mind, when he broke down initially, he called himself useless. This has been anything but from the first red.
69. 73.
I'm going to make sure to keep practicing and hopefully one day I can be useless.
78.
Yeah, I mean, he's held to high standards, but he holds himself to them as well. Never quite been satisfied. But that's pushed him on to keep working, to keep practicing,
84.
to look for new ways. He's with Lee Walker at the moment as a coach and working on Lee's sort of ideas. So as I say, despite that mishap, the frame is his. Ronnie O'Sullivan levels up with Jack Jones at one each.
कमीज और कलर रंग का था, सलवार और रंग की होते थे, हमारे घर में फाका होता था, हम किसी से
It's the top four that go through to the playoffs. Yeah, it's been a long day for everybody.
Okay, yeah. Third frame.
Possible 3 frames left.
immediately up from that one. As soon as he struck it, he knew he'd caught that red all wrong. Well, that's a big let-off because I fully expected Jack to knock that red in. It wasn't too difficult. That one that Ronnie's just crunched in, much more difficult. And struck it really well. Chance to get into the reds now. Didn't need to go into them with too much pace with those two reds to the right of the pack available. He's on one of them.
Well, first one was dismissed.
Cheers. Thank you. Nine.
Looking for a 9th Masters title later this month. Of course, already holds the record with 8.
60.
He's been in 14 finals at the Masters.
Cheers. Thank you.
And most of the ones he's lost have been close. He lost to Decided to Selby because Paul Hunter made that great comeback against him. Steve Davis actually beat him 10-8 one year from 8-4 down. Now is he on one here? Doesn't seem to be.
24. Ronnie Sullivan, 24.
Yeah, I guess the only heavy defeat was Trump beat him 10-4, didn't he, back in 2019. But of course, O'Sullivan opens the show Sunday against John Higgins. That in itself is quite intimidating, being the first match on. You know, all the build-up there's going to be.
Yeah, and rightly so, because it's a clash of two titans, isn't it? What an amazing way to kick off the Masters that will be.
Yeah, I mean, they've contested 3 finals there. O'Sullivan's won 2 of them. They played one of the match there in the lockdown, actually, where Higgins won, but between them they made 5 centuries in a row. Because John Higgins has had a couple of new cues this season. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, neither's got anything to prove, and yet they're still trying to prove it, aren't they? You know, Ronnie's with Lee Walker. He's trying to change things up, looking for a different way of looking at things. John's been changing cues. Just fascinating how they don't rest on their laurels.
And word on the street is that John has found a cue that he's really, really happy with. I think he's got another title in him still, John Higgins.
Well, meanwhile, it was not a good safety, was it, from Jack Jones? He left that red on, so Sullivan back in. Oh, that red's travelled too far to be onto right middle. See, he's getting a bit frustrated about things.
Okay.
Covered nicely.
9.
Yeah, I mean, on Higgins, you know, he dropped out the top 16, didn't he, this season after the English Open, after 29 years. And it was kind of end of an era, and, you know, people were starting to think, OK, well,
16.
thanks for everything, John, and all the rest. A week later, he was back in. He got to the final of the British Open. It was like it never happened.
That tends to be the case with all greats in any sport.
20.
You write them off at your peril. They just keep proving you wrong.
Yeah, and of course the third member of that club, Mark Williams, has done it as well, hasn't he? You know, won the Tour Championship, beat Ronnie in the final, won the Champion of Champions this season. He's not happy with how he's playing, but this is a chance for a 2-1 lead nonetheless. Won the most matches at the Masters, 62. Stephen Hendry, 42, is second on that list. And I think the stat that's the most telling, most centuries at the Masters, Sullivan 86. Next best is Hendry again, 46. So he's made 40 more centuries than the next player on the list.
34.
अकेडमी की फीस देनी है और आपके पास पैसे नहीं हैं तो मैं आपको एक ऐसी ऐप के बारे में देती हूँ 50,000 तक का लोन
35.
It was a very elementary mistake that Jack Jones made to let Ronnie in for this visit, and it could have gone wrong a couple of times for Ronnie, but he's just about held himself together, and he's taken these out really nicely.
41.
But the safety from Jack was so poor, just rolling into the reds. He left the red to middle.
I think the thing today with O'Sullivan, he's played properly. He hasn't swung his cue at them. You know, he's got frustrated at times and he's made mistakes at times, but
49.
he's been businesslike nonetheless.
$54. 55.
So made an 84 in the last frame, already up to 62 here.
63. $68. 69.
Wow, what a pot that was down the rail. He just bullied that red into the pocket. Does look in a mean mood, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
71. 73.
Not quite enough on for the ton, but
76.
he's made a frame-winning break, likely to be a clearance.
$80. 85. 91.
Yeah, big mistake from Jack Jones for sure. That safety error opened the door here. Ronnie O'Sullivan has charged through it.
98,
A terrific 98 clearance from the Rocket to lead Jack Jones here. 2-1, he needs one more frame for victory.
ਆ ਵੇਖੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੁਗੀਆਂ ਵਾਲੀ ਬੇਰੀਏ ਚੱਲੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਬੱਚੇ ਜੰਮਣੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਲਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਤੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਤੇ ਹੈ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਰੋਲਾ ਪਾਉਣ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸੁਣਨੀ ਵੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਜੰਮ ਲਓ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਲਣਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਬੇਵਕੂਫ ਹੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਸਟਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਗੇਮ
ਹੁਣ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਲਾਟ ਲਿਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਅਸੀਂ ਬੇਰੀਏ ਚ ਪਲਾਟ ਲਿਆ
अस्सलाम वालेकुम आप देख रहे हैं मेरा
So breaks of 84 and 98 from Ronnie O'Sullivan have given him a 2-1 lead over Jack Jones. He needs one more frame to win his first match of this group, having lost his first three. And if he could then win his last two tomorrow, he could still make the playoffs.
Well, he needed something, Jack Jones, and that might just be that something, but the cue ball needed to travel on a touch more. What a brilliant pot that was from right underneath the baulk cushion. He was up and down, he didn't look too comfortable. But importantly, the red went in, and he's followed it up with a good pot on the black. That was super thin and very missable.
8. Nine. $40. 50.
Well, he's got 2 or 3 loose reds in open play to work off here, but he would like to get into that pack at some point while some loose reds are still in the open. just to maximise his chances of landing. Well, he might have left himself a low angle on this black to play that pack split now, but he's too straight.
$22. Jack Jones, 22.